try this again because everything just crashed on me before, and apparently I was talking to no one for about 20 minutes. So that was fun. Let me see if I can get this actually working here. See if we get a live source on this. Monday Ramblings. Yes, activate selected. There we go. Very, very good. And we're active. So let's see if it actually works. So what I'm having a problem with right now, so I'm using Lightstream to stream, and on my screen, my camera looks great. It really does. On the interwebs, it does not look great, and it just stopped streaming for some reason earlier. And I have more than enough bandwidth to handle an HD stream, but man, does it look terrible from here. So that does not make me happy. Not at all. I'm going to test my chat overlay. So I'm going to have to figure that out because the frame rate and everything is just not working. All right, let's see if my chat overlay works. Does not appear to want to work. And that doesn't make me happy either. Even though it worked before. Oh, there we go. No, you're a bit blurry, but I've not met you. You might be blurry in real life. Thanks, Gillum. That's really nice. I don't know why this is not working. Let me see if I just have the wrong link. So give me a second here. Social stream. Select the source of the ticker. Very good. That's the ticker banner. No, I just went. Where's my highlight? Give me a second here. That'll happen to be one of my streams. Yeah, I mean, it's starting to look a little bit better, but it's just, I was really did not like the way that it was looking. It looks like pretty clear now, but the frame rate stinks. And I have more than enough bandwidth in order to get this. And I'm trying to get, and then now it looks really good. Who knows? Let me, I'm trying to get my Pixel Chat to work so that I can do my chat highlights. So let me get this here. I'm going to try to, there we go. It is not, my chat highlights are not working, even though they worked the last time. So I don't know what's going on with that. So error, the URL could not be retrieved. Well, that's weird. Let's take that down. That seems a little odd. So it's showing up on the stream, but it's not showing up on my screen. I don't understand. So neither of these are appearing. Okay. I'm going to delete my things. I don't know why there's currently an overlay sitting on my computer for no reason whatsoever. I don't know. So anyway, let's see. I got a couple people. I got Skillum and Blind Bard reading or watching. So thank you so much. And the thing went away. So now let's try to get this highlight thing to work. So Pixel Chat, this is the link. There we go. Livestream Studio. I'm going to create a new text overlay. Where's my overlays? Overlay. Here we go. Add URL. Save it. All right. Let's see if I can get it to work. Hey, Cypher Unlimited, how are you? I am just trying to, I tried to get on Moonbeam and everything crashed. So I'm trying to get this to work just on YouTube. So try to come up. Please pop up. It just doesn't want to work today. Looks clear. Yeah, it was fuzzy to start out with, and now it looks actually really, really good. So I'm kind of happy with that. So that's good. But it's not letting me do my chat highlights, and that makes me unhappy. That makes me very unhappy. So obviously I have done something incorrect. I'm going to have to figure out what that is. Yeah. So that should be not hiding it, not locking it, not editing it. I don't know. It's very strange. Anyway, so here's what I was talking about earlier and trying to do stuff, and it crashed. Social Stream just totally crashed on me, which is weird. I don't think it likes the new version of the software, to tell you the truth. So anyway, I'm going to quit that because that's obviously not working. I'm going to try my other Social Stream. The older version of the software worked better than the newer version of the software. Let's see what we got. Activate selected. Let's see if this works. Looks clear to me. I don't know. Nothing works. It's just not working right anyway. All right, so here's what I was talking about earlier. Cipher system is changing. This has people freaked out, which Dean was talking about earlier on my Discord. I'm excited about it. And let me explain why for the second time tonight, because my stream crashed the first time. So I love Cipher System. And one of the things that's happened since I came back into the hobby is that I have really come to appreciate the narrative-centric games that are less about trying to get in all your formulas and crunch and everything in order to destroy something with damage per minute, and getting into stuff that lets you describe what you were doing, the flavor. This is one of the reasons why I love Sentinel Comics RPG. It's also one of the reasons why I absolutely love Streamline Superheroes, because there is no rules to go to. You have a die and you roll it. That's what you get. It's up to you to describe how it works. It's also one of the things that I appreciate about Open Legend, even though Open Legend is much more crunchy. Cipher System is really cool because it's this narrative first thing that does have a framework as to what all the characters are built on. For those who don't know, play Cipher System or never played it, every character in Cipher System, is an adjective, noun, who verbs. Adjective's your descriptor, your noun is your type, closest analogy you have to a class that you can get in Cipher System, and then your verb is your focus. So adjective gives you a one-time bonus. That's not too hard to deal with because you get a bonus right at the beginning of character creation. Kind of cool. Type is kind of like the general guide that you follow as you tier up, and then your verb is kind of like a secondary tier, like guide that you follow as you tier up. You're getting certain abilities every time that you go to a different tier, and that's really streamlined describing how it works, but that's the general gist of things. And I love this. I love that you can do really cool things. Here's one of the things that gets to me, and this is before Cipher Tools got created on the Monty Cook Games website, which is utterly fantastic. So when you are just using the book, when you create a character and you get to the verb, you are flipping through page after 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 page to try to figure out what verb do I want to do stuff, like what are the cool things that I can do as I tier up. And it's not hard, it's just a lot. That's the way that I describe it, because it's really straightforward. It's just a lot to go through. So And one of the things that hit me as I was doing the Cypher system and creating my fantasy characters for the one shot that I did is I wanted to have a wizard. And I play Numenera almost exclusively, so I always forget who what the kind of like magic-y type is in straight Cypher system. I'm sure somebody can tell me in chat. But the hard thing is that I'm coming from this D&D perspective and even Dragonbane perspective where your character has a whole list of spells that they can use. Doesn't work that way in Cypher system because your character has a certain level or a certain number of tier abilities and then a certain number of focus abilities that adept. Thank you, Dean. A certain number of focus abilities to go through. So you're not like expanding your spell list the way that you necessarily do in like D&D, which is actually fine. But my mentality is I want to create a distinct wizard. And so that's kind of the difficult thing with it. Couple of caveats on that. One is if you're playing an adept is the default term for a Cypher system magic type character. If you're playing an adept, you are not automatically going to die as soon as you get into any type of melee combat because that just doesn't happen in this game. You're not going to last as long as a warrior type character, but you're not like going to get one and done, basically. So you can do things to help out in the fight without having to just sit back. I was like, I'll just hold the torch because I cast my spell. So that's one thing. So that's one cool thing about it that I kind of like. But I want to have wizard with flavor, and when I'm creating a magic-y type character, and actually everyone who's played like a Nano and Numenera, and then the adepts in straight Cypher system who's played a magic-y type character, they've all chosen Onslaught because it's basically the magic missile fireball / lightning bolt for it is Anthony. Sorry, Anthony. I always forget who runs the Cypher Unlimited channel. It's good to have you here, Anthony. So that's one of the things that I like. That's what it is. And it's really cool because Onslaught is not, it's a mechanical description and you can use it either mentally or physically. And so it's totally up to the character, how they want to implement it. So in that sense, Onslaught is as many spells as people can imagine, which is cool. I like that. And I have 2 players in my Numenera table who both have Onslaught and they use it in completely different ways. And it's really cool. That's one of the things that I appreciate about Cypher system. But I miss that idea of the wizard with the spell book. Like that's the one thing that I miss. Why? I don't know. I'm weird. It's just something that's ingrained in me from my years of D&D, but also I think Dragonbane has it too. And so this is one thing that I'm actually hoping with these updates that are coming to Cypher system is one of the things they're talking about is streamlining character creation. Not to take agency away from the players, because that's not Money Cook Games style, but to make it easier to build what you want. So as far as I understand, I'm looking at the different design diaries, nothing wrong with missing that spell book. Thanks, Chuck. I'm sorry I can't get my chat online. Nothing is working right. So instead, what Monty Cook Games is doing is they're creating these different archetypes, and they're putting out design diaries weekly. They're putting some on the website. They're doing some to the people who are interested in this backer kit. So go check it out. But these different archetypes, at least that's the word I'm using for it. These are going to be frameworks set up by genre to say like, okay, so this is what you're going for. Here's your starting point. Now work from here. So it takes out a lot of the flipping through different pages. Which is ironic because I don't want to flip through the pages of the book, but I want to have the wizard flipping through the pages of their spell book. I totally get that. But it takes away flipping through. It's like, well, what verb works with this? And they're going to have the little build that you can do and be like, okay, here's a base point, work from this. You can go in these directions. I'm really looking forward to that. And one of the cool things that MCG has done, Monte Cook Games has done in the last year or so, is they put out that awesome character creator that lets you build all these characters, and it actually lets a GM create, here's my campaign, and we're playing this theme, we're playing this genre, and these are the verbs that I want, and these are the descriptors that I want. I actually think it even lets you give the type so you can limit it to like everybody's got to be a Conan type. That's cool. I am literate wizard who reads his spell book. Yes. That would be an absolutely excellent character type for Cypher System. So adjective, noun, or verbs. Literate wizard who reads his spell book. Adjective, noun, or verbs. That's awesome. So they have this excellent character creator to go through, but it's still a lot of work because the GM needs to always know what verbs fit this and what does that do. And it's less work than it used to be, but it's still a lot of work. And then when the players come on, it's like no work for them at all. If you've never made a character with the Monte Cook Games character creation tool, go do it. It's a lot of fun. I'm still waiting for Numenera to get on it. But that's one thing they've done, and they're going to bring in these new archetypes to build off of into that system. So character creation with the character creator has become very fast, and I'm expecting it to become even faster and more streamlined. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm hoping that in doing that, I will see how it is that Monte Cook Games kind of encourages you to build that kind of studious wizard who's flipping through the page book all the time, or the cleric with the holy symbol and that sort of thing. So those are things that I'm really looking forward to just in character creation. So LOL spelling, ugh. How'd we, folks? Hey, Swords and Stones. This is my second attempt to stream tonight. The first one crashed. This one looks a lot better than the first one did, so I'm kind of excited about that. I still don't have my chat highlight working. It died. It worked last time with the system. I don't know what's going on now. I get an error that the URL can't come up. So here's the other thing that they've announced with the new Cypher system. And I'm wondering if my problem with streaming last time was that I was going to Moonbeam and this at the same time, and it blew everything up. Because I don't think it went to Moonbeam at all. I have to figure out what's going on. But anyway, so damage right now in Cypher System, this is the way it works in all Cypher, at least every Cypher System game that I've done. I think the Magnus Archives might be different. Is you don't have a health pool. When you take an attack, it goes to directly to your 3 pools: might, speed, intellect, and it starts at might, goes to intellect or speed, and then goes down to intellect. And every time that you lose a pool, you go down the damage track. That you get hindered, it becomes harder to do stuff. You can't do as much damage, and then all 3 pools go out. You're 3 strikes, you're out, you're done. So you're just dead. I've gotten people down to 2 pools before, so it's been kind of fun. But it can take a while because everything does like a set point of damage. So I feel like doing a couple attacks at like 4 points of damage, and the person's got armor, and it reduces it by 2. It takes a while to beat everything up, and the combat in Cypher System works really, really fast. But that's one thing that can slow things down a little bit, and sometimes a very tense moment doesn't become as tense as it could be because you have those pools. And it becomes this game of resource management. Do I spend my pools to try to dodge this? Do I spend my pools to try to hit this better or get away? What am I doing? It's one of the cool things about the system. Cypher System is going to change this. This just got released this week on the design diary. So one of the things that in the design diary that came out, I'm not going to put up on screen because it's not on the website version yet. Hey, Joe. I need to get I really need to get a chat overlay working. Sorry, guys. Is that damage now is not going to go directly to your pools. And one of the reasons why they did this is because as they were playing, is folks didn't like the fact that it was almost double dipping. That I'm getting hit and it's taking down my might, but then I want to be able to attack this thing more, which means I have to spend more might. So I'm really bleeding myself dry. To me, that's a selling point. Oh, Gamers on Games is here. Hey, Dave. To me, that's always been a selling point, but I have watched it in my Numenera sessions to be like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything because if I do it, I'm going to go down the damage track because they're depleting their pools. So I totally get this. So Monte Cook Games is coming out with a wound system that's going to be part of this new version of Cypher System that's coming out. They described it really cool. And wound systems are not new. I know Savage World uses a wound system. If you are, following Daggerheart at all, they're using a wound system. I do know for a fact that Monte Cook Games is not doing the wound system in response to Daggerheart. They were working on it, at least looking at the timeline, longer than Daggerheart was, at least publicly. So they were. It's not a reaction. This came out of their own play of the game. So instead of damage going right to your pools, you take a certain amount of damage, you get wounded. And every certain amount of wounds, well, you're going to go down the damage track. So essentially now attacks are being applied to the damage track. And if you're reading the design diary, when they start talking about like, now you're impaired, that's damage track language. So that's kind of what you're going through. And I kind of like that, because it still gives the players full access to their pools to decide how they want to spend them. Because one of the ways that you can clear a wound is to spend pool points. So they're indirectly affected by the wounds, but they're still there. But also you still have a full set of pools to be able to unleash your wild abilities on things. So I kind of like the different change and nuance in that. I want to see it in action. I want to play with it. I really want to try it out. One of my friends who was in my Numenera game, he read that rule and was like, "Oh, when are we going to put this into? When's this going to come out for Numenera?" It's not coming out for Numenera or The Strange or, Old Gods of Appalachia. Anything that's like their separate IPs. It's not just base Cypher System. They're not like making everybody who plays one of their games buy all new books because they're changing like two things. It's only applying to base Cypher System. So to this book and any of the White Spine books. That's all that it's applying to. So that's kind of cool. So he was kind of bummed because he was kind of excited by the prospect of it. And it does change things. I think it's going to change how armor works in the game. Like, how does it work? Or maybe how damage is applied. Does armor still just damage reduction? It reduces the wounds that you take. I don't know. We'll find out. This is all new stuff. And I'm kind of excited to see what comes out of it. Now, and this is what I tried to talk to in my first stream that broke. I admit I have not been part of an edition change since first edition AD&D to second edition AD&D. I was there for basic to beck me, or BX to beck me, but I just thought that was the same game with the new sets. I didn't know any better at the time. I was a child. But that was the last edition change that I was part of, and I wasn't even playing at the time. I was just collecting the books because I didn't have friends who played. So I don't have kind of the emotional baggage that folks who went through that whole cycle from second edition to third edition to 3.5 edition to fourth edition to fifth edition, and now on to 2024. And I'm not picking up the 2024 books because I just don't run the system anymore. I don't really enjoy it. Enjoy running it, I should say. So I get why people are stressed about this, because it's hard to not remember all that. I'm a Philadelphia sports fan. I have been disappointed more times than I can count, and that emotional baggage sticks with you. So I get that type of baggage with things that you really appreciate and enjoy, and having someone come along and just tweak it and destroy it. I get it. That's something that we all have been through. I will say that this is not Monte Cook Games' MO at all. You see Anthony's here in chat here. Monte Cook Games created the Anywhere door on Moonbeam, which is literally their own place to stream and to do chat and Discord or discourse. But they had this thing called Cypher Unlimited that was fan driven, just people who really liked the system and wanted to do it. And instead of saying, well, we're taking over this now and essentially Sherlocking, you look that phrase up sometime. Instead of Sherlocking Cypher Unlimited, they went, no, we need to make you part of this. This needs to be part of who we are because you are so important. That action that they took in creating Moonbeam and making sure that they weren't disrupting their community, that's kind of what I expect them to do with the update to Cypher System. If they're doing something, it's because they saw something that they wanted to tweak because they thought they could make the game work better after so many years of playtesting. Essentially, I mean, they've been playing it and they've been tweaking it, and they go, wait, these tweaks actually work. Let's now bring this to everybody. So I think that's kind of cool. So I do not expect them to just screw everybody over. They have said repeatedly, everything that's in your white books, everything that's in your bestiaries, everything that's in core books, all the adventures that you're working, you're fine. If you have a bestiary, one of the design diaries said, because they have to change the way damage works, because they're changing the way that things get applied, damage gets applied. I think what they said is like a sentence that you have to change in your bestiary entry. That's how hard it is to convert to this new version of the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that sentence is. I do not know what it is. I will have to say that I am on kind of like their media list. So they're one of the people that they did call, bring me onto a call. It's like, here's what we're doing. This is what's going on. Don't let the cat out of the bag. And basically I am now at the end of what I was allowed to know beforehand. They've already released it to the public. So I had like maybe a 6-day head start on some people. And believe me, I tried to get them to say more stuff. They're really disciplined. They worked with like movies and stuff. So little Emmy was not going to get around their talking points. They're really, really good. It was a lot of fun. And so I did know a little bit of this stuff beforehand, but now they've kind of released it all in the public, even more than what I knew. And it just looked kind of cool. I'm really excited to see what happens with it, and trying to write some stuff. But I am not a developer. I am a game master and a player, and I am a commenter. I am media, which is just weird to think. So I have a semi-narrow perspective. I'm not trying to bring a book to the public for people to buy to feed my family. So that's another reason to be very, very stressed over it. And what I do know is that Monte Cook Games is trying to reach out to as many of the folks who develop for the system as they possibly can. I know they would do everybody if they could, just get everybody's contact information. Be like, okay, here's what's going on. It's sort of said they get the Aki calendar. I'll talk about that in a second. So I know that they're trying to reassure people, and actually, no one's going to be blindsided by this. They want people to continue with their projects. Stuff is going to go on. People will have the option to develop for, whatever version of the game that they're going to want, and understand that nothing's going to break what they do. And I can't say enough positive things about that type of attitude towards the gaming community. We've seen different attitudes, shall we say, towards the gaming community, like all the people who didn't want all the 2024 stuff to take over their character build in D&D Beyond, right? Because they just threw that in there. So this is a little bit different. And I'm kind of excited to see what they do with it. And I know it's going to be, I think the kit is going to be fully announced, and the launch date is going to be announced in the relatively near future. And I'll be backing it. I want to see what's coming out. And like I said, I basically now know what all of you know, and it should be really, really cool. It should be fun. All right, you want to talk about Githyanki. So, Swords and Stones. This is done by Stern. And here's the cool thing about Stan. Stan's going to be at Page this year. I'm going to get this sucker signed, which is kind of weird because it's already, he auto pen signed it. But look at all these. This is like the 50-year anniversary, but look at all the drawings he's done up until July. I mean, how cool is it? All these old homages. There's a Dragonlance one coming up pretty soon too, I think. Or did I miss the Dragonlance one? Let's see. Because I thought they did Autumn Twilight. Let me see. I thought they did. That Githyanki, that was awesome. Next week, we're going to go to Dark Sun, or next month, Dark Sun, for the Dog Days of Summer. Oh, here it is. That's September. How cool is that? Stan did a good job, but he's going to be at Page this year. Stan, you know what, Anthony? I love Stan too. I've only got to talk with him indirectly, but he just seems like a really nice guy. I'm trying to get him to come to EcclesiaCon next year too. We'll see if I can drag him out here. Hey, Agile Monk. So that's my Cypher System stuff. And Anthony, if I said anything that is off base, let me know. A lot of fun. And then let me do another just quick update. I am writing my Rust and Redemption review. When you're on vacation, there's just not enough time to sit down and just like write or read. It's kind of a bummer because this is what I do to relax. So I did get a significant portion of my Rust and Redemption first draft written. I'm going to edit that down because it was just getting way too full. And then after that, what am I doing? After that, I'm probably going to be working on my Unnamed Numenera book to do a review for, because by that point, I'm hoping my players really are in there. And Skillum, I played DCC for DCC Day up in Indy, and our group picture made it to Goodman Games page. Dude, Skillum, put a link in there if you can. I don't think I had them blocked. I would love to see that, or put it in Discord. Show it to me. That was really cool. And I have not played DCC yet. I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm looking forward to get the Numenera. I got Ironbound here. Oh, and look at this guy. I picked him up on vacation, and I went, he's a cool set piece. He's like made out of like nuts. Isn't that wild? Doesn't that look cool? So that was definitely worth a pickup. I went, ooh, that's a great tax write-off. Let's get that. So he's now a set piece, and I've shown him off on the channel. So that's my set piece. Really, really cool. And then while I was on vacation, even though I didn't have time to write and read, we had some friends to come along with us. And the dad plays in my Dragonbane and my Numenera group. It is just nuts, Swords and Stones. Perfect. It is absolutely perfect. But he plays in my Dragonbane and in my Numenera group. We've been trying to get a Sentinel Comics RPG group set up with he and his son and my son and maybe some of his friends. But his daughter wanted to play, who was in my youngest's class. So they're both going into, well, they're in elementary school. And so I had made most of a character for her one day. And she's like, okay. She didn't have any idea what was going on. And we sat down, and she loved the fact that she had leadership as one of her things. I'm a leader. That was really cool. But we finished up the older son's character down where we were out by Chincoteague, and I put this in my random thoughts, but I did like a test assault or a test combat just to show people how the combat worked, or how the system worked, really, because it wasn't just combat. And my youngest came down. He's like, wait, you're playing without me? I'm like, whoa, relax. We're totally just doing I'm showing them the mechanics. We're going to play tomorrow night. Don't worry. It's like, oh, okay. He went back up. They came down the next night, and we played. They did a bank heist. They were being silly. there were two hostages that I have to remember to put in mortal danger because no one ever wants to save the hostages. They just want to punch the villain. The villain's name was Input because he's kind of a computer-based guy. Her minions were all called Bites, so they were running around, so it was really cool. And they had a great time. And my youngest flew around the one villain to try to knock him out, and he's just like, I gotta fly around, I'm gonna kick him in the butt, because when you are of a certain elementary school age, hitting things in the butt is just absolutely hysterical. It's the high point of humor, and he succeeded really well, and he passed on the initiative to his friend, and she's like, I'm going to punch him in the butt too. Okay, cool. And she knocked Input out. It was really cool. They wrapped everybody up. They saved the hostages, overcame everything, and we were all packing up, and it was time for bed. It was only about an hour and a half that we played, which is about how long you can play with children of certain ages. And I looked down and I said, so do you want, like, did you have fun? She's, oh yeah, I want to play that again. And the whole time it was really cool, because the whole time that she was playing, her dad's looking over at his mom, at the mom, going, do you see what she's doing? You see what she's doing? He was all excited because she's being part of the story. And she's kind of like, oh, wait, I get to think about what I'm doing and do it. It's really cool. That was fun. So we'll probably do that again some more this summer. I'm going to have to write some cool adventures for them. And when I put them up, I was only putting them up against a lieutenant, which is not like a full-blown villain. So I want to write like a full-blown villain just for these guys and let them go after it, which should be really fun. And Anthony says, I've been digging Dragonbane, love Dragonbane, and Tiny Dungeons. I need to get the tiny games. I need to get Tiny Superheroes too. I've heard that's really good. Your twin 8-year-olds have been having a blast with Tiny Dungeons. Love it. And Skillum, yes, I was on Chincoteague Island. Well, we were off Chincoteague Island. We have friends who have a house down there where they let us use it as part of my sabbatical. And we saw ponies. We went to Assateague. We did both sides of Assateague, and I saw ponies on both ends of it. Assateague goes from Maryland down into Virginia. We did miss the pony swim. So, and yeah, that was fun. We came back today, which is why I'm back streaming again. So I had some fun with doing my played a game while I was on vacation. That's always a lot of fun. Did get to do my random thoughts video. That was a lot of fun. Wrote some of my Rusty Redemption. I'm going to try to finish that tomorrow and get it up early this week, and then get to some other stuff, because so good. Actually, Money Cook Games did send me Old Gods of Appalachia, which I'm looking forward to reading, kind of, but horror kind of freaks me out, so I have to do it with the lights on. So that should be fun. Chincoteague is cool. Skillum, are you near there? I really, if you guys have not been down that way, the eastern shore of the it's the Delmarva Peninsula, because it's Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. It's, really high point of naming. It's a really cool place. A lot of agriculture. You can see how the economy has kind of gone down, and it's kind of coming back again, as there's a lot of farm to table things that are coming out. A lot of farm to table restaurants are hitting, which is really, really cool. And so we've gone down 3 times. We go down to Williamsburg a lot, and I will only drive the Eastern Shore route because I don't want anything to do with DC traffic. And it's just this really cool country drive. You're just like, it's like, but the speed limit's not as fast. It's like, yes, but I don't think I'm going to die the entire time. That's a plus for me, because I get to where I'm going and I'm not like, which is what 95 is like. And so we're driving through it, and then our friends get this house, and so we've been there a few times. I grew up going down the Jersey Shore, and Jersey Shore is down the shore, and Jersey Shore Boardwalk will forever be the thing, right? That's so great. But Chincoteague, even like Ocean City, Maryland, is huge built up. We drove down through there this time, and it's like God, it's like Wildwood on steroids. Um, but Chincoteague is just this laid back place. You're just driving up. People are driving their souped up golf carts around. There's not a lot of traffic and people yelling at each other, which is really kind of a cool thing. You can't. I'm used to having like the best pizza in the world on like down the shore, and they have okay pizza because they're out of the pizza triangle. But we found something that was decent. It's really kind of fun. Um, I grew up. Oh, I would move back to Heartbeat if it wasn't settled with family. I totally understand that. The toll over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. I don't care because mostly because when I do it, I'm on vacation. And if you guys have not done the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, that's an experience. It was like 22 miles long, 25 miles long, and you're just it's like being on like the intercoastal highway or the down in the Keys, right? Because you're driving through the bay, and then you'll go up on a bridge, but then there's two tunnels that you go down under, and it's just like this wild thing. Um, but here's the cool thing about when you're driving down the Eastern Shore and you do the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, you feel like you've teleported because you get to the bridge and it's the lower half of the Delmarva Peninsula, the Eastern Shore. It gets pretty sparse for population. There's like an RV resort and a couple of things down that way, but it gets very, very, very sparse. And you go over this thing and suddenly you are in Virginia Beach. Really, really cool. And you hop on 64 and off you go to where I'm going. Um, it just and you go 25 miles, but because you're on this bridge and you have all these landmarks to get to, like I have to get to the big bridge. Great. Now I got to get to the first tunnel. Great. Now I got to get to the second tunnel. Great. Done. Um, and now I'm off the bridge. It feels like no time at all. And it takes like a half hour to do. A little more if there's a little traffic in the tunnels. But it doesn't feel like it. You're just like, oh, just that half hour doesn't count. It's a really, really cool drive. That's what I mean about doing that. It feels less stressful, which is that's when I travel somewhere, I want to be as non-stressed as possible. So that's what we did. And actually, last time I did that route, I was going down to Williamsburg last summer, and that was the first time I played Into the Odd with some friends who came with us, which is cool. Joe Fisher, when I was a kid, we used to go to Wildwood, then years later to Seattle City, then to Cape May, Ocean City, New Jersey, Wildwood boardwalks. I mean, I grew up doing both. So my grandfather, before it became hoity-toity land, my grandfather had a house with owned it with his sister in Avalon on 29th Street, right, which is where Avalon used to have like the skee ball and the arcade and the penny candy. And actually, when I was real little, it had the movie pier and their little boardwalk there. And that's where I grew up going. And so we would do a day trip down to Wildwood, do Diamond Beach and the water slide. And then we do the Wildwood boardwalk, and we would watch the tram cars, please. And then another night at Ocean City. Just absolutely, absolute blast growing up doing those things. So yeah, the Jersey Shore is built into me. Here's the funny thing. I hate the beach. I don't like the beach. I love going down the shore. I love the boardwalk. I love the shops. I love the bookstore. Like, there's something about going down the shore and going to this little bookstore that has all these cool books in it and just grabbing a book. And there's sand everywhere. And it's just like a bookstore down the shore has a smell. Like all bookstores have a smell, but a bookstore down the shore has a totally distinct smell that you cannot smell anywhere else. And just grabbing a book and going down, it's like the nostalgia hits pretty hard. So that's I love going down the shore just for that. So put me on a deck in the shade with a book, with the sea breeze going. I'm in heaven. Don't put me on the beach where I can fry. So I'll do body surfing in the water for a while. Yeah, I don't mind. I like being in the water down the shore. Also, one thing that I do miss in Chincoteague that you don't get down where you do get in the Jersey Shore is there's no outdoor showers. I mean, if it like a Jersey Shore outdoor shower, that's an experience that everybody should have at least once in their lifetime. It's one of those things, and all the different setups for them is really cool. So Lots of fun. Which is the beach I liked at the Jersey Shore was Sea Isle City. It was cleaner than most times there. Yeah. So when I was growing up, Sea Isle was kind of like the downtrodden place, and now it's like the up and comer, right? Jason Kelsey's got a house there. But we would go over because Sea Isle used to have like one water slide, so we would go over the drawbridge from Avalon because it's the next island down, and go over the water slide and then go home, which is fun. The weird thing about Chincoteague and Assateague is that they aren't touristy at all. So Assateague definitely is not, because it's a national park that hasn't been closed yet. Fingers crossed. And they also have a state park. Chincoteague has gotten a little touristy. There's an amusement area, there's a water park, there's a couple of mini golf courses. You have to have mini golf courses down the shore. But it's not like going to Wildwood, or it's not like going to Oceans. It's not even like going to Avalon, which still, is very touristy. It's still got a little bit of charm. It's a little bit like Cape May light, because it's much smaller than Cape May. And I think more laid back. I loved it. So it's grown on me as we go down. They also have like 3 coffee places, which is just a plus. So that's always nice. Yeah. So that's where I've been. And I'm back to writing and doing stuff. And I will tell you a little bit of update for you. We have got a date and we are working on plans for it. I'm still trying to finalize the people who are going to be on the stream. But on August 11th at about 8:30 p.m., hopefully using the system that will not blow up on me, and I'll be able to use my chat highlights. I don't know why that's not working. We're going to be doing a live play of Monty Python's co-curricular medieval reenactment program, run by the creator of the game, Brian Salovey. I am looking forward to that. So there's actually a really good Foundry install that someone created. It's not, you can't just download it from Foundry. You have to go through Build Any System, and then he's got a private module to put in that creates the character sheet. And I literally am putting in all the accoutrements for the different attributes so that we can build characters and have people just click and roll, because Monty Python uses all these weird dice, and this is the easiest way for people to get to do that. So that is what I am really looking forward to in the coming month. I also am trying to, if you were watching the chat with Glenn Finney the other week, I really want to sit down and play Clever, Cool, Crazy with him at some point. He's coming to Page and running it this year. I want to play it with him beforehand. I'm hoping I can do it while I'm on sabbatical, which should be fun. And I've got a couple of game systems, including Monty Python, that I want to do character creation videos for. Those are probably going to be members only streams, because I want to reward my members for doing that. It will be live members only. I will try to do a what do you call it? I can't even think. My brain does not work right anymore, guys. It will eventually go public to everybody, but to do live, you have to be a member. I don't want to keep it away from everybody forever, because I know some people just can't do that. But I got to do something for the members, because they do support the channel directly, and I do appreciate them. So that's what I got going on. Thank you for letting me ramble for my second stream tonight, because the first one blew up, and we'll see how this all works. So I'm looking forward to trying to get my chat overlay working again at some point. I don't know why it is not, and we will see. So until we see each other again.